All right, click the link to show me over Subscribestar, Telegram, and Locals. So this is the short review of this movie. Yes, I saw it, not in theaters. I saw it online. This is a movie for a very small audience, and also probably not PC to say this. It's the wrong movie at the wrong time. Even at the right time, this movie wouldn't have done huge numbers because the Eichner guy, the lead guy, he's the wrong guy for the character. He might be a great writer. He might be better behind the scenes. When you look at him on camera, he's immediately unlikable. Throughout the whole movie, the dude is completely unlikable, and I'm wondering, how did you get picked for the lead role? I mean, unless it's your movie, but it's like, I know you didn't come up with the $50 to $60 million, so I don't know how the investors looked at you and said, oh yeah, this guy's the great guy for the role. It's like, you're completely unlikable. Everyone else in the movie was, like, the movie would have been fine if it wasn't for you as the lead actor, which is, you know, if you like, the movie did $4.8 million, if you had anyone else in there, this movie was never going to make money, but it would have done a lot better if you had somebody who was more likable and just less whining and backstabbing and just bitter. It's just, and then to see his Twitter meltdown, I was like, that didn't help either. So, okay, the BLT community, there's a spectrum, and I say this as an expert on the community because I know, what, 2 or 3 people, maybe more than that. I know a guy who's in fashion, and he loves, like, dressing up and going to events and, you know, partying a bit. And he's, you know, you call him flamboyant, right? He's literally in the fashion industry. And he would probably be okay with this movie because he's, you know, on that end of the spectrum. But yes, there's a fair representation. But let's look at the spectrum. It's like, how many, this movie's strictly for gay men. It's not even it's not for the gay community. It's not for women. It's just for men. And if you're not a gay man, you're probably not going to understand this movie. It's just like a series of moving images that don't connect with the viewer because, like, we just don't understand it. We don't understand, like, sex to us is special. Its value is partially it's the rareness, but it's also the difference between the left-hand path, the right-hand path. Building something that can only, like, 3 is the magic number. Whether you're using like Christianity, the like, to see the Trinity measure reflected in the human experience, or you're more secular and you come from a nationalist perspective, it's like 3 is still the magic number. It's the core, you know, Bob Duro, man and woman and a little baby. It's like, that's the core, and then it builds out from there. That's the right hand path versus the left hand path. So even, like, without you don't have to come from a far right perspective or some Christian perspective to look at this and go, this doesn't make sense to me. When people are jumping in and out of bed, the mindless hedonism, it doesn't mean anything to you because it's not special and you're not building something. And there's I don't know if it says for YouTube. There's a scene where they're talking about these 2 gentlemen are having a kid, and I watched that and go, so where's the mom? And, you know, so I know it's not politically correct to say that, but I looked at that and I'm horrified when the perspective is like, well, where's the mom? I want to know. Children need their mother. It's not a question of the mother died or something. The mother's, like, you're taking the kid away from the mother. Most people are looking at that and go, that's abhorrent to us. This is an atrocity to take a child away from their mother. Is the mother in the life? And, like, you put that scene in a movie and you go, oh, well, we're telling this multifaceted, complicated story. And to be fair, like, this guy Eichner, as unlikable as he is, he's interesting because he did tell a more honest perspective of a movie. But the part of being honest is, you know, putting yourself out there and go, like, yeah, a lot of people are not going to like you. I watched the movie. I didn't like Eichner at all, and I didn't like a lot of the people in the movie or the values that they were portraying. And that's one of them, like taking a kid away from the mom and not explaining something else to make it more palatable to people. Most people are not on board with that. Even on Twitter, when there's some guy couples will do that. They're like, we're like, these shows. Oh, it's the Buttigieg, him and his partner, like, adopted a kid or something. No, they didn't adopt a kid. They surrogated. Like, adopting would be one thing, and a lot of people are not going to be on board with that if they're just being honest. But I think they got a surrogate. So people are, like, being honest, and then the replies are going, like, yeah, where's the mom? Like, a lot of people were saying that, and, you know, they weren't all far right Christian Republican types. There are a lot of women who are going, yeah, women are important. Mothers are important. so you gotta, like, where's the mom in the equation? Is she gonna be part of the child's life? Like, that's a problem for a lot of people. And so my point is, part of being honest is putting yourself out there. There's a lot of people who are not gonna like you, or a lot of, hey, welcome social media, friendo. A lot of people are not gonna value your values, and we, like, this, watching this movie, it made me like, it pushed me even further away to say, like, yeah, I do not share your values. And maybe when I say this is the wrong movie at the wrong time, 20 years ago the country was a different position, where if you made a movie like this, it would have been accepted way more, where now we kind of look at this slippery slope, and there's a lot of other things going on now where this is the wrong movie for the wrong time. It's more that, like, people just don't agree with the lifestyle. Now people are kind of becoming actively opposed to it. And I think he thought if they put $50 to $60 million into this movie, the budget plus the advertising, which was insane amount of $30 to $40 million in advertising on a $22 million movie. So you're going to lose $40 to $50 million on this movie. That's nuts, man. That is absolutely nuts. And then look at Eichner and think, oh yeah, he's going to be the lead. This unlikable character is your lead? Are you insane? That his partner, his co-lead, like, that guy was likable. You could have paired him off with anyone else, and it would have been a better movie. But they didn't. So this, like, the movie at the wrong time. There's just too much going on politically, and like, the other truth is, your own people didn't see it. Like, this, women are not going to see this movie, even if they're BLT or if they're on the left, because it's just not for them. It doesn't make sense to them. It didn't make sense to me. It doesn't, and I'm not some far right person who's just terrified by alternative lifestyles. I'm not, but it just didn't make sense to me. Like, oh, you guys are just sleeping around. It seems like the hedonism of it, the I don't know what not the narcissistic, but the pointlessness of it. When William Shatner went out to space and he saw, like, the blackness, the infinite blackness of space, and he said he was terrified and depressed by it. I think, it depends on your worldview, how you interpret space. I view it as, like, yeah, look at all the potential for habitable planets within the within the habitable zone around the right type of star. It's like there's going to be certainly going to be life out there. But William Shatner was terrified by that. But it's a different perspective of the left hand versus the right hand path. And you see this movie, and, like, this movie will just turn people off if they saw it. And as it turns out, no, most people didn't see it, because it's not only is it for gay men, it's for gay men on the flamboyant end of the spectrum. There's a fair amount of them out there, but there's probably not enough of them to support a movie. So it's like $50 to $60 million, and then plus, you have to make that plus, because no, you don't get 100% of the domestic theater returns. That amount varies, and the overseas returns are going to vary. And so you need to get quite a bit of money. Like, this was crazy to think you put this much money into the movie, which that's kind of the real story. I don't know enough about the movie thing to look like, why did you guys put this kind of money into a movie? This should have been a $5 million movie, if that. And then you kind of go for word of mouth, and then you go, okay, so to make a profit, we have to hit $20 million. We can probably do that on streaming. And again, you look at Eichner and go, like, oh, you should have got an actor that people don't immediately hate. You hate him in the movie, and everyone else is cool. All the other characters are cool and likable. Even the characters that are not, like, you think you're not going to like them visually, judging a book by its cover, yes. But then they speak, and you kind of like them a little bit. He's the most unlikable person in the movie. And, like, how did you get the money for this movie? That's a question that, I don't know, Josiah Rises or Odin's movie blog or something can probably tell you how they got that money. I mean, I assume he must know where the bodies are buried or something. Anyway, this is the wrong movie at the wrong time. And, I mean, there's a lot of other stuff going on, but so, like, only so much you can say on YouTube. Shit. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. See you guys next episode.